Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hey, what is up guys? Horror Nights Fan 13 here, and today I am shooting a video to cover our most recent Halloween Horror Nights 2018 Hollywood Maze announcement. That is right, our third Maze announcement for the 2018 Haunt season. But before I get into this video, please, as always, show your support. Like the video if you like it, comment what you think about this announcement, subscribe to keep up with further updating. I know I promised that HHN rankings video, I got really busy with work, and I didn't have time to edit it, so it'll be out soon. I have all the footage, it's on my computer, it'll be out soon. After this one, I'm doing another lineup speculation just to make some adjustments to the locations of the mazes, also to talk about a few more things content related to the mazes wise, as a few more rumors have popped up, but you'll have to subscribe to see those videos, you know, if you want to, just to be, you know, keeping up when they happen. Follow social media at HHNFan13 on Twitter. Get a follow back on there just as a thank you. Twitter will always be notified, you know, like, hey, I'm shooting this video, or if there's a delay on something, I will notify Twitter. So Twitter is the place to go if you want to contact me, if you want to follow updates on what is happening with my channel. Twitter's the place to go. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Announcing the commencement of the first Purge. All crime will be legal for 12 hours.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Your government thanks you for your participation.
Yep. It's happening again. Year number 6. So, I'm gonna get into a bit more information on the maze itself, and then I will voice my opinions on this maze coming to the event. So, the first Purge. This maze is solely based off of the 2018 recently released film. It was like, what, 2 weeks ago? I think 2 weeks ago released? The first Purge, Blumhouse's new Purge movie. There are 3 Purge movies. It's The Purge Anarchy, The Purge Election Year. This one takes place before them. This is a prequel. It's the very first Purge. It's only based off of this one. This maze will be located down on the Metro sets, the same location where Ash vs. Evil Dead was, Krampus, Walking Dead, Crimson Peak, all those mazes. This maze will also be our Twitter password maze. Now, if you don't know what the Twitter password maze is, every night of the event, John Murdy will tweet out something in Twitter, say, hey, this is the password. You go up to this certain character at the facade for this maze, you tell them this password, and if they still have them, you get a certain, you know, special card, souvenir, something like that. It's only limited time while supplies last every night. So if you don't get it one night, then if you're going another night, try again that next night. So, it's our Twitter password maze. Where this password will be located is there's a recruitment station for the experiment. In the first Purge, the Purge is not called the Purge. It is called the experiment, and then it is labeled as the Purge. So, it will be a recruitment station for the experiment, and a character called a Purge psychologist. Yeah, that's just what it's called, because, you know, we already know this universe is called the Purge. So, a Purge psychologist will be at the recruitment center. You go up to them, you tell them the password, and then you get whatever it is. John will give more information on what they are in a later date. Speaking of the facade for this maze, the facade is going to be burned out storefronts. So, you know, nothing super specific from the movie. There were no really specific locations in the movie that I would deem worthy for the facade. It was just kind of, yeah, let's go burned out storefronts. Why not? Now, the next part. This maze, or I should say, take a step back. This movie featured a lot of what I would call controversial characters and scenes, and, you know, it was very much a social commentary, this film. And the figures and characters that it featured that I would call controversial were very racist figures tied back to, you know, stuff that started in, like, Civil War times, stuff like that. Those type of characters were featured in the movie. However, they will not be featured in the maze. They are avoiding all of the controversy, so you do not have to worry about racist figures being featured in the maze, stuff like that. They are focusing on the horror aspect and not the social commentary aspect, which personally, that makes it a bit better, but still a lot of the characters in the movie were very controversial, and it'll be hard to see if they just repeat the same kind of 2 or 3 characters here and there to avoid these characters, or if they create original characters. I don't know. But let's move on. We know at least one character we will be seeing. Skeletor! Crap, that's the wrong Skeletor. Skeletor! Yeah, I think that's the right one. If all of that went right in post-production, you would have seen Skeletor from He-Man up there first. Because honestly, I can't take Skeletor seriously. The dude's name is Skeletor. I can only think of the frickin' dude from He-Man. I actually joked about that with John too. I might put in a screen capture of this tweet here. Someone in the tweet where they asked him like, hey, will we be seeing Skeletor in the maze? He said, oh yeah, you'll see Skeletor. And I'm like, but what about the real Skeletor? Because, you know, it's Skeletor. It's so funny. How can you take an antagonist with the name Skeletor seriously? I can't. I cannot take Skeletor seriously. Moving on. This is what I think, having seen the movie, what I think will be featured in this maze. You know, scenes, characters, stuff like that. Okay. One of the scenes that I thought stuck out that would be awesome in a maze were the Purge parties out in the street. I think that would feature well in a maze as like a, you know, good way to have a distraction scare. Your eyes are drawn to the characters partying and then Skeletor. Alleyway full of explosive toys. I should have prefaced this way before. Spoiler alert! If you have not seen the first Purge, if you don't want to see the first Purge, then keep watching. But if you have not and you do want to see the first Purge, I advise you not to listen to what I have to say. So the alleyway of exploding toys. There were 2 female characters who were participating in the experiment, and they hung a bunch of stuffed animals in an alleyway, and they all had bombs on them. And I thought, like, instantly when I saw that, okay, it's a tight claustrophobic alley. That works perfect for a maze. You walk through and the toys are dangling down, and then, I don't know, you hear an explosive sound or something, and then a character pops out to scare you. Something like that. And then there was another point where one of the main characters that this film follows was walking down an alleyway, and there were a bunch of people wearing the contact lenses that were filming the events of the Purge. They were all looking at him through windows, and I thought that scene very much reminded me of a scene from 2016's Freddy vs. Jason, where, you know, Freddy and Jason were both on opposite sides of the hallway. They had scrim on the hallway, so it would be lit a certain way, and then you'd see them, and then it would not be lit. They would have ended up following you down the hallway, and then they scare you right at the, you know, end of the hallway. So I would think they would do something similar to that. I very much like that scene, and I thought it worked well for a maze. Abandoned factory with Purgers and Skeletor. There was a scene where one of the characters was hiding in an abandoned factory, and I thought that scene had a lot of good environments for a maze, so I definitely think we'll be going in there. I think we'll be seeing a lot of recreated scenes from the footage that was featured, you know, the footage from the security cameras all around the city. I think we'll be seeing that because I don't think this movie has enough content on its own to build a full maze, so I think if they just do kind of the random scenes that were featured on the security cameras, like one of my favorite was the human piñata that was featured, so they just have stuff like that, the random masked purgers that were seen on security cameras, I think those will be featured. And last but not least, I think we'll be ending in the apartment building with the siege from the government figures, you know, sieging the building. And then at one point, the main character, who I kind of likened to a knockoff Black Panther, was, you know, he hit like a fire alarm, so strobe lights were going off, an alarm was blaring, and I thought this is too perfect for a Horror Nights maze. So, I think there's enough material to make a solid maze. But now let's get into my opinions. No more notebook. This is just what I think about the use of the Purge. We have seen the Purge featured many times at this event. 2013, it was a scare zone. 2014 was also a scare zone. 2015, we saw it move to the Terror Tram. In 2016, we saw it as a park-wide takeover. Sorry about that. A park-wide takeover. So, we saw it take over the entrance scare zone. We saw it in the Parisian Courtyard, Universal Boulevard, and French Street area for the Purge Gauntlet of Fear. We saw it in the Backlot Tunnel and the Backlot Scare Zone. It was featured everywhere in 2016. And in 2017, we saw it featured as the first portion and the finale for the Horrors of Blumhouse maze. That is 5 different uses of the Purge. It has never once been featured, on the Hollywood side at least, as its own maze. However, in Orlando, there was a situation in 2015 when they were going to do a maze based off of Scream. The rights were pulled last minute and the house was purged, and we got the Purge in Orlando instead of, a Scream maze. So, the Purge has never been featured as its own maze in Hollywood. Honestly, I think this maze is long overdue, and not in a good way. I think it is overdue to the point where nobody is reacting very good to this maze. Most people are saying, really? Again? You can't do something different? Most people, are the general public, they're saying, why are you doing the Purge? Why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing The Conjuring? Stuff like that. There's a lot of rights issues with those ones, but still, doing something else instead of a property that has been featured at the event for the past 5 years, it's a little boring. This year is going to be my 7th year attending Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. This is also going to be the 6th year that the event features the Purge. 6 out of 7 years of me attending the event have featured the Purge. Only 1 year, 2012, I have seen Purge lists. And honestly, I'm a little sick of it. I voiced my opinions on Twitter. Some people were agreeing with me. One person was just like, hey, try to keep the negativity out of it. I will give them the benefit of the doubt and still anticipate this maze and still think, this could be a good maze. I've seen the movie and I've seen that it has good maze potential. So I definitely think it could be a good maze. My issue is just the continuous use of the IP over and over and over. It's very unoriginal, and it's very just, okay, again, really, the Purge? We can't get rid of it. And it sucks that people keep requesting it. The people who follow the event on Twitter and Facebook, usually I would deem them just the general public, but this time they're siding with the hardcore fans like myself who are kind of sick of the Purge at the event. And it's maybe that should be a wake-up call that not all of us want to see the Purge year after year after year. Yeah, it's continuously successful somewhat at the box office. Yeah, people still like the idea of the Purge. But do we really want to see it every year in a row for 6 years? And now potentially a 7th, given that there's a TV show coming out? I don't know. My issue with it is that it's just been overdone. Just beat to hell, pretty much. That's the only way I can describe it. This this property is just way overdone. And honestly, I think this maze will be successful. However, I don't think it should be featured anymore. I think we should get something new and original. John said he wrote an entire original maze for this year, but then it was scrapped in favor of an IP. Why could we have not featured the Purge in something else that I'll talk about in my speculation video, and then given an original maze, It's Time to Shine, something we have not seen since 2014? I don't know. It seems very lazy and unoriginal to continuously use the same property over and over again, and unfortunately that's just where my head is at with this one. I will still go into this with an open mind and say, hey, I think this maze could be good, but I don't know, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth that this is continuously, I have to say, The Purge is coming to Halloween Horror Nights. The Purge is coming to Halloween Horror Nights. This is my 4th year of updating. All 4 years I've had to say, The Purge is coming to Halloween Horror Nights. The Purge is coming to Halloween Horror Nights. So, that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video if you like it. Comment what you think about this maze announcement. If you share the same opinions as me, if you share different opinions as me. Subscribe to keep up with future videos. Follow social media at HH10Fan13 on Twitter. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.